In a world where things almost make sense, and most everything is interesting and mildly unique, it's a place that feels somewhat familiar and has the suspicious comfort of a loving semi-omnipresence. You are on the outskirts of Loutopia. Sit back and relax, or tense up and march around. Please welcome your host of Loutopia, Lou Angel Wolf.
Ah, yes, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. I love it when Don Capone says my name, because that's the beginning of another Loutopia podcast. Broadcasting out of the beautiful Double Special Studios in sparkling Clearwater, Florida. Hello, everybody. I'm Lou Angel Wolf, and welcome back. We are broadcasting live on YouTube. It's Lou Angel Wolf, and then you go to my YouTube channel, and you click it, and there we are. We just went live, baby. And this is the Loutopia podcast. It's about health, humor, and well-being. This is show number 120-something. And we have a good time here, and tonight's going to be no different. We are also simulcast on the IRN Broadcast Network. That's IRN Broadcast. Simulcasts the show for us every week over there, so please catch up on that level. And later the show will be available on Podomatic. We're going to share it again on the Facebook. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Love this show. We have a thread that runs through every show. I think his name's Earl. And the thread for tonight's show is how to be alone. And I do have to say, internally, some of my alone times were the most precious ever. And we're going to share a lot of stuff like that. Over to my right, my co-host, it's Michael Merberg.
Nice to be here and not alone for a while.
Yes. Yeah. I know exactly what you mean. It's like when you want it, you can't have it. But then when you can't have it, you want it.
But whatever you end up getting, you needed it anyway.
Absolutely right. Over there, Mike 3, Chris Gorgeous, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
He's lovely. He's talented. He can reach all the buttons.
I can reach all the buttons.
Okay. And we have a special guest this week. This guy's a longtime friend of mine. A soul sojourner, a journeyman, a looker, a dreamer, the giant midget. He's just like Dewey Cox. It's our buddy Christian Jones.
All right, good to be here. Thank you, Lou.
Yeah, man. I thought of you. I wanted to do this topic, and I thought of you, and I went, man. Christian has done one of the rarest things of all Americans. I mean, it's a very short list of people that have this level of accomplishment. He hiked the entire Appalachian Trail, and what year was that?
2004.
2004, from the very beginning, or this is right there, beginning number 1, and then 1,972 miles later, you're done.
It's actually 2,174, and it's probably about 2,200 and something now. It keeps changing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's amazing. And you walked every foot of it.
Yep.
That's the map there. Is that
Hiked
correct?
it.
Yes, sir.
Did you follow that directly? Was some of it like completely untamed, rural woods, all that crap?
It's basically almost a highway through the woods, but it's marked with white blazes. There's it's well marked,
but some of it's undeveloped as far as like there's not a lot of houses around. It's not like you're walking through downtown.
I think there's 7 separate national parks that you walk through.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm. And I remember talking to you about it before, and it's not like your rails to trails conversions where it's all paved and marked and all that stuff. I'm sure there's parts of it like that, but you also told me that there's giant inclines with boulders the size of bowling balls that you have to manipulate.
Exactly.
So just wherever it leads you, that's where you got to go.
Right. It's every stage of it is different. Just building up to even getting up to 20 to 30 miles a day is an accomplishment in itself.
Oh, yeah, I would say.
It takes quite a bit of...
And so how long did the entire journey take you?
Approximately 6 months.
6 months, okay. And how many people were with you?
I left on myself alone.
You left alone.
I did.
Wow. You are the perfect guy for this show.
I was going to say, you knew that. That's why you had him on. You had him on just because he did it alone. That's the way to do it, though, I think. If you're going to do something like that, I mean, and this is going to sound sort of awful, but you don't want other people, like, affecting your pace and how you're going to get through it. Does that make sense?
True.
Yeah. I like to do it the way I want to do it and not have to worry about other people and their conveniences and all that.
Exactly. And you do meet other people that are on the same trek, but
Sure.
everybody there came pretty much alone to do the same thing.
Is that what it is? A lot of people do it alone? There's not a lot of
I would
groups?
say at the beginning, about 3,000 to 4,000 people start every year, and 10% of that finish. So of the 3,000, maybe 400 or 300 finish.
Yeah. Now, is this I'm sorry to cut in a little bit. Is this did they start at the same time every year? Or is it a continuous thing where people are just getting on the trail and starting?
Actually, everybody's starting right about now. Is the current starting point.
So weather
to
is-
March, right? You follow the. There should be no snow through the Rocky or through the Smokies,
Right.
and it's maybe a little cold, so it's just going into spring. As I had a snowfall on mine in the Smoky Mountains for the first couple days, and then it all let up from there on out, and you get to see the entire spring. You go through the entire summer and almost die, and then you end up in Maine and New Hampshire for leaf peeping season with a bunch of tourists.
That's America, buddy.
No doubt.
Wow. So 6 months, and you had a backpack.
Everything you had was on your back. Exactly.
What'd your kit weigh? What all that?
Well, I started out with about a 70-pound pack. Way too many pairs of socks. Way too many.
ended up with a shed.
Yeah, exactly. So the first couple weeks out is a learning point for everybody. And you'll hear from other experienced people. Hey, man, you don't need any of that stuff. By the time I was halfway through, my pack was down to about 27 pounds.
Really? Wow.
That's without food.
Without food.
Without food.
Yeah.
Just sleeping gear, tent, and your basics.
So you spent a lot of days out there by yourself.
Basically all day by yourself. Nobody really. You'll run into somebody for lunch, but I would say the majority of it is just walking by yourself.
Hiking. We call it hiking. Hiking.
Yeah. Hiking.
Good thing you didn't run into Jeffrey Dahmer.
That's a different. You hungry?
Yeah, he wasn't going to be in the woods. He stuck around the neighborhood.
Yeah. He wasn't that assertive.
No, or woodsy.
Right. Or woodsy.
It was never said about him that he was woodsy.
just never didn't get that vibe off.
Dahmer? Yeah, a real woodsy fella.
Right. I think he's down at the lake. That's right. Thinking no, probably not.
Strange that he hangs out around that refrigerator so much.
Oh God.
But anyway, so you had the big adventure, and you got it. That's just got to be an incredible feeling, especially like if you encountered the beginning of spring in the Smoky Mountains, which has got to be some of the most breathtaking weather ever. I mean, just that cool crispness, and you got a nice path ahead of you, and nobody bothering you.
No, it was unbelievable. The first part all the way into Virginia was a phenomenal learning experience, and getting up to that point where you could, hike a 35-mile, 40-mile day, and still make food and not just fall down.
Nice.
It was.
And you had your own little one-man tent that you slept in every night.
Exactly. Or there's shelters along the way, and huts and little things that you can, and a lot of hostels, because you do have to stop and get clean once in a while.
Yeah.
Man, you go a week without a shower, man, is pretty bad.
You're pretty funky.
You're pretty funky.
Yeah.
You missed me with the hostel thing. I was like, the locals were not nice to him? Why? And I'm like, oh, hostel. Oh,
Not those hostels.
I know.
He didn't go through Charlottesville.
those Blackfeet Indian out there.
Well, just having that much time and that much fresh air and clearing your head, and you really, I mean, imagine at a point in time you actually set like markers in your mind. You go, okay, I no longer feel this way about that. When this subject comes up again, I'm going to approach it differently. And having that much game prep I'm just going to say,
Right.
has got to make you. I mean, you're a very amicable fella. You make it through the world on a daily basis in a
Just fine.
kind and loving fashion. Nobody's
Just fine.
stepping on your buzz, you know.
No.
And and I'm sure there's a lot of stuff that you made up your mind about on that trip.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of why I did it and a lot of what I was seeking. I wish everybody had an opportunity to be that alone, to actually get an opportunity to find themselves in a way that, you know, I along the whole way I was very troubled, and that was one of the reasons that I did it, was to give that, see what your limitations are, see where you're going, see whatever you're all about. And the one thing that rang through me the whole way through the trail was my art, and that's something I should pursue for my lifetime.
Yes, absolutely. And you are an incredible painter. I have one of your works framed in my living room.
Well, thank you for that.
Yeah, and
Is there
thank
anything
you.
online?
Yes, I do have a Facebook page, BCES Studios.
BECS Studios, and you can see Christian's artwork. And so deciding that you're going to always maintain some level of artistic expression, very important.
Exactly. Very important to me in
Well, sure.
this lifetime.
Yeah. Michael is quite a painter himself. He built a giant barn / studio / antique card show storage unit.
It's a big barn.
Awesome.
It's a great old big ass Morton building, and it's all art studio upstairs,
Wow.
overlooking this beautiful pasture. And downstairs is his Jeep, his Corvette, his 4 motorcycles, and
Gym and a full shop.
yeah,
Bathroom, shower, and washer dryer. I don't
Wow.
ever have to leave that place if I don't want to.
That's awesome.
that is a great thing. And so you're out there on the Appalachian Trail. You're say it's the middle of summer. It's 90-some degrees. Did you ever have the feeling you were like, dude, this is it. I'm going to take it this far, and I'm done.
I would say there was a guy that walked with us. He was the general of the Falcon War. He was working in Sierra Leone at the time as a mercenary
Uh huh.
in the diamond mines, and he had a lot of demons. This guy,
Yeah.
he would sing Irish or English songs. He had more power than the Queen of England,
Right.
apparently.
See, that's the kind of guy I'd expect to meet on the Appalachian
and
Trail.
I did. This guy was so cool, man. And he was working through some stuff about probably killing people in some way or another. And, he said just one of the statements along the way while we were talking to him was, man, I've seen almost everybody here break down and cry in their own, like, this is it. I cannot make it another step. I am so torn down by this trail, especially in the middle of Virginia. They call it the Virginia Blues for a reason.
Sure, man.
It's a very strong, you've just been walking for so long. After your first 1,000 miles, it's like, yeah, I made it 1,000 miles, but now you still have another 1,000 to go. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
And like I said, everybody there broke down and basically was leaning over on their hands and knees and just bawling their eyes out at some point.
Yes, beautiful.
Like I said, so many people drop off, and it means the world to them. This is something that families go through, that people of generations. I piked with other people that were like 3rd and 4th generation family people and have dropped out twice, and this is their 3rd try at it, and it means everything to them. And just to see that when some people just blow out a leg or blow out fall down, and
Sure.
boom, you're done.
Yeah.
You're
right.
done for the trip
Game
that
over.
year.
Womp,
Game
womp,
over. That
womp.
womp. Yeah, exactly.
Wow. And that's beautiful. And you know what? Getting to that point of exhaustion, getting to that point of surrender. Okay.
Exactly true.
What you're also doing is you're surrendering to your humanity. And very similar to a born again experience.
Very much.
When you have really realized your humanity and there is a flat spot, and that you don't have any more left to give. You don't have any more opinion. You don't have any more charge left. And really what you have to do at that point is you have to go neutral. And that's exactly what happened to everybody. That
Sure.
they went neutral. Those who got up and finished found the recharge in finding the neutrality. Once you get to that neutral point, and you can literally wash away everything else, that all your suppositions, everything you believed, because at that point, none of that shit matters. All that rotten shit your uncle used to tell you, all that, the time you failed doing this and the time you were, embarrassed over doing that, none of that shit matters at that point, because it's just you and your next breath. So, those who can get recharged from that neutral zone, they're the ones that get up and they finish.
Exactly.
And I'm proud of you for that, man.
Thanks.
That's it's a pleasure to know you, because you have your energy is very constant. I mean,
I tend to be a high energy guy and very focused.
yeah, yeah.
I think that trail did lead a lot to that, and that experience, like you talked about. The other thing it makes you realize is, there was no way I could accomplish that without the help of what I would say are called trail angels along the way. Mm-hmm. And these are individuals who have either done the trail or are there to, help people and feed them positive energy along the way to get them up and going too. So,
That's beautiful.
That was all part of it, was learning that your own mortality, you have it within yourself. You have to dig deep for yourself, but yet there is always, you're never really, we're alone, but we're never really alone. Everybody's, we're all part of one big thing, one big consciousness. And
Amen.
those people were there for that reason, to help you realize that, in life, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, hey, man, I really need a hand right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Amen.
Whether it's just, hey, man, you ran down the thing. I'm dying. I need a little water, man. Can you help me out?
Sure.
Basically that was the main thing, was you realize how strong you are when you go, to the next water source is over 8 hours away, and you have none for like the last 2.5, 3 hours of walking.
Oh,
and that happens.
Wow.
So, you're just so parched by the time you make it there. It's like, oh my God, water. Well, I would give anything for some water.
Like an old rolling paper.
Yeah.
Christian, how long ago did you do this?
In 2004.
2004. And if you just joined us, we're talking to Christian Jones, Lou's friend, who hiked the Appalachian Trail. Did you do any training prior to this?
I did a little walking up and down the Pinellas Trail with some weights in a backpack.
But did you have did you look up any survival skills, like what do I need or how it was going to go, or you just did it?
It's been a lifelong dream for me since I've been probably about 11 or 12 years old. I saw another gentleman give a presentation on the Appalachian Trail, and being in Boy Scouts as a youth, I'd done some long distance hiking, but never anything of this caliber.
Right. Wow. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf, here with Michael Merberg, Chris Gorgeous, and our buddy Christian Jones, who hiked the entire Appalachian Trail. And the show today is about being alone and not fearing the aloneness. I know, codependency is something that I dealt with in my life, and very, very happy to be more adjusted about that now, because I love people. I love them. And I think the reason I love people is because I also get some good alone time, which lets me sit back and reflect and appreciate them. I know a lot of people are very frustrated because they don't have any alone time. They're always, a lot of families, there's always somebody around. They come home, there's people there. They go to work, there's people there. They just don't have any room to breathe. And I can tell you, if you can see that in your own life and you feel some stress, that's part of it. You need to bust out a little bit.
Or build yourself a library.
Build yourself a library?
With a locked door. Stay out.
Or a giant barn with an art studio
Yeah,
upstairs.
That works.
Now,
I got books.
Now, Merbs, right. Oh, my God. I have just shelf after shelf of incredible books, stuff that I'm longing to read, have no time. No time to do it.
Yeah, that's why like books on YouTube or something you can put into your phone when you're driving.
Yeah,
That's the only way to go, man.
yeah, you're right about that.
You know?
But now, Michael, you also don't you have like a little camper out somewhere on like some
Yeah, I do.
in some mud fields?
Actually, it's pretty close to the mud fields. But yeah, I have a hunt camp, and it's you got to pass through Mikesville to get there.
Yes, Mikesville.
But the hunt camp is in Bucksville.
Through Mikesville, then you take a.
To get to Bucksville too. We used to hunt there.
Is it in Florida or Georgia?
Oh, it's Florida.
Okay.
So before becoming a really devout Taoist, that was a pretty good shot. Now, surprisingly enough, I can't hit anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. I was never a hunter. I went a couple of times, but I didn't shoot at anything. I enjoyed the barbecue afterwards, but it wasn't. I wasn't. They could tell I was a tenderfoot or whatever they call people.
That's okay. It's it takes more of a man not to kill than to kill.
Yeah, I think they used the word pussy. I think was the word.
Pussy. Well, I bagged a few of them in my lifetime, and they're still alive to talk about it.
Nice.
But yeah, so folks, like I'm saying, it is very important to be alone, and sometimes, just maybe you and your significant other take off for a little time to enjoy each other, but and that's all a wonderful thing, but there has to be, for me, I was so blessed from like 1988 to 1998 as, the majority of my life was being a stand-up comedian, and which meant, countless hours and long car drives and, airplanes and trains and buses and whatever it took to get you there. Actually, if you get a clean bus, if you have a clean bus ride is a nice thing. I wrote some of my best stuff on a bus, and and it's just that because they're really, every once in a while you meet somebody then you have to talk to on a bus, but you can have if you have the correct body language, nobody will sit next to you.
Right.
And
if you take up a lot of seat, nobody will sit next to you either.
If you just don't bathe, nobody will sit next to you.
Exactly.
this whole not bathing thing. But anyway,
It's very European.
And that's the other thing. I've read this on the internet. I don't know if it's true or not. They say that's where the expression June bride came in, because that's when everybody took their annual bath. It was like in the beginning of summer.
Well, yeah, actually, it was thought that bathing was not good for you.
Who thought that?
Some like very ancient people.
Really?
Yeah. There's actually Mennonites and those kind of guys. The Amish.
Yeah.
They're loath to bathe.
Yeah, but you get ripe, man.
Hey, you get used to smelling it,
Yeah, that's what they said in the Appalachian Trail. Another reference is, when you're coming up over the hill, you can smell the guy that you knew who was coming. You were coming up on.
That's why the Indians always knew the white man was coming.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a true meaning, Lou. It was thought that couples who married in June would be blessed with prosperity and happiness. During medieval times, a person's annual bath was once a year, usually fell in May or June, meaning that June brides still smelled relatively fresh.
Dude, I can imagine some things didn't happen in the Middle Ages sexually. You know what I mean? There's just wow, and completely unkempt.
Well, more happened in the Middle Ages than in the Old Ages.
Well, but people died in at 28 back then?
Yeah.
That wasn't that the average lifespan to
Yeah.
28?
Yeah, exactly.
Because somebody would just use you as sword practice or
Well,
something.
no. Also, there weren't a lot of vaccines made. There weren't a lot of medicines. You get an infection, it could be a death sentence. A small infection that you can take antibiotics for now could kill you.
Wow. I'm going to stop complaining about today.
No, seriously. There's some advances. I'm like, I'm good with that. I'm good with refrigeration. That's nice.
Sure.
Love refrigeration.
Yeah.
Yeah, we lived in the best of times.
It enables pork consumption.
Well, also iced
We
tea.
all like pork.
The
Iced tea.
Bacon.
Iced tea, yeah.
Bacon.
Pork chops taste good.
Hey, I got some quotes here.
What you got?
While you guys were busy talking, I was digging up some Rumi.
Should I get the chimes going now?
Yeah, get the chimes going.
You want the
Get
chimes
the
going?
Chimes are good.
All right, let's see if we can get some chimes going. Here we go. Oh, there we go, chimes.
All right, let it rip.
Silence is the language of God. All else is translation.
Yeah, man.
So true.
Quote number 2. The only real rest is when you are alone with God.
Amen.
Do not feel lonely. The entire universe is inside you. And this one's apropos. It's your road and yours alone. Others may walk it with you, but no one can walk it with you.
Nice.
Or as we say, you got to go there by yourself. And then finally, this is one of the quotes that I like from Rumi. When I'm with you, we stay up all night. When you're not here, I can't go to sleep. Praise God for those two insomnias and the difference between them.
Very nice. It's beautiful. Yeah, I've had bouts of insomnia in my life and was fortunate enough to be able to embrace it, actually use it as some writing time.
Sure.
But now these days, my body clock has shifted around. Around 10:30, I start looking for
Pillow.
horizontal positioning.
Not the only thing that's shifted on you, Lou. Lots of stuff has shifted, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
You still look good. I'm just saying. You're
Well,
shifting.
I know, but I'm shifting. I know. I can feel it.
Shapeshifter.
Yeah, he's like a boat wreck on a shelf, just gradually moving, spreading out.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Loutopia podcast. Normally, during the second half of the show, we have Beth Snyder, who we love dearly, but she's traveling to some sort of event this evening. I don't know what it is.
She's on the Appalachian Trail. It's time.
And do you know where she's going?
Coral Springs is where she said she
That's
was
right,
at for
Coral
something.
Springs.
Okay. She didn't say for what, though.
Well, either Coral or the Springs.
Either way, I was just there. I just drove through it. I was there Sunday. But we'll look forward to having Beth back next week. So we're just going to go ahead and roll on through into the second hour. Unless do you guys need a break? Anybody?
Second half hour.
Second half hour.
Yeah. We
Okay.
don't, you wish you did a 2-hour show.
I can do a 2-hour show.
I'm not saying
it'll
you
be
can't.
boring as hell.
No, I think if you templated it, it could be okay.
Yeah. Well, but we're going to do the second half hour, so we're just going to keep rolling.
Yeah, okay.
Now, thank you for that, Michael. That's some beautiful stuff. And
I got one more.
one more.
One more,
The big
yeah.
closer. Here you go.
The big close.
Wait,
It's-
let me get the chimes. Wait.
chime it.
Oh, God. I thought you were done, dude.
Oh, come on. Well, maybe try the bowls. Here
The
we go.
bowls?
Yeah, do the bowls.
Where's the bowls?
I don't know.
Oh, Japanese gong? No, there's
No,
I'd have to search
that'll
the bowl.
fit too. I mean, me and Chuck Barris got something in common.
There's the Native American. Yeah, there's the bowls.
Yeah. How's that?
That's good.
These bowls are available at the Ohm Shop.
What's the address, Lou?
TheOmshoppe.
Wait. I'll just throw it up here. Look, here we go.
TheOmshoppe.com.
There it is. It's on the screen now.
There we go. This is from a poet. This is from Heifetz. Now, did you notice that if you're a great poet, you don't have a second name or a first name? They just call you. You got Rumi and Heifetz. All right, this one's from Heifetz. All right, he says, I searched for God and found only myself. I searched for myself and found only God.
Yeah, I like that.
Yep.
I like
So
that.
the moral of the story is no matter where you go, there you are.
Buckaroo Banzai.
That's it. You got you got a whole universe inside you.
Yep.
And that is amazing. And that's one of the things that we've discovered here on the show on several occasions is just how prepared this world is for our existence. And like now that everybody's getting hip with the cannabis oil, taking it not necessarily to get high, but taking it as a healing agent And man, I take it every day.
Sure.
And I can tell you my energy has improved. I've had some ailments, that my circulation is better.
Well, this all stems from not being alone in society today. We don't never get a chance to be apart from anybody. We're always taking care of our kids. You know, you go right to bed after you. There's never an opportunity to free yourself of that. So, you know, that's a great opportunity for that.
Yeah. As you learn these things, I'm very, very happy that Florida passed the medical marijuana thing. It really does help relieve pain.
Sure.
I mean, I've actually used it as that. You know, if you have chronic pain, if you got major joint pain, I mean, I needed a hip replacement for several years.
Wow.
I walked on a cane. I could only work, 4 or 5 hours a day. I was hurting, and but it has smooth muscle relaxing.
What people don't realize is there's a neurological system, the neurocannabinoid system, that actually exists in your body. It pre-existed the law that says you can't use this stuff legally. So for 99 million years, humanity's been using it and uniting with it and hasn't had any problems. And then all of a sudden, 1937, our government comes along and says, can't do it.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of reuniting yourself with that. One of the most interesting things I did when I traveled in the former USSR is I went to a place called Zaporozhye.
Zaporozhye?
Zaporozhye.
Okay.
And Zaporozhye is the home of the Ukrainian Cossacks. It's where Taras Bulba kind of started, his defense of the West against the non-Christendom of the East. Taras Bulba was one of the great leaders, and very unknown in our society. But and the island of Zaporozhye is left untouched. It's been a national treasure for hundreds of years, and it's actually the birthplace of modern democracy. Many would argue. The only problem was in the 1400s it was limited to men only. But what I found growing there was scads and, Jesus Christ, poppies and marijuana everywhere.
Nice.
Yeah, and this has been going on. It has survived the Soviet era. It survived the modern Russian era. It survived the modern Ukrainian state. And I'm like, holy crap. You guys have had access to this stuff throughout communism and everything else. Yeah, it was always here.
Wow.
So
that'd be a great way to deal with it.
Yeah, can you imagine having told America that, hey, pot is legal in the Soviet Union? We really want this shit, So, sorry, I know I interrupted, but
no.
But cannabis is a really important element of our biological plane.
Yes,
and the government has really no right to take it away from us because it does no harm.
That's true. That's exactly true.
It does a lot of good.
But the United Corporations of America, which we really are, they have a big problem with it because then you won't need synthetic pharmaceuticals. Right. If you're naturally healed.
Or psychotropic medications to cure your anxiety and make you want to pick up an AR-15 and kill people.
Right, true.
Yeah, it's and as people become more awake, the veil is being lifted and shed. There's a lot of people realizing that this corporate mindset, this everything that's for profit. Now, don't get me wrong. Michael said it before. We do live in one of the safest, most definitely one of the most beautiful times on earth. I mean, there's just so much wonder around us. We have all this modern technology, yet we still have some virginal places that you can enjoy. And we live on the west coast of Florida here, and beauty is just around us all day long. I mean, we live in the tropics. It's the trees and the flora, it's all just stunning if you take a minute to take a look at it. And then on the other side of it, I mean, look at the technology of this website. I mean, we're sitting in Chris's little studio here, and this show literally is going out across the world with a click.
Amazing.
And it really I feel very fortunate to be chosen to be in this time, whether I chose it as my soul decided to descend, or whether it was chosen for me, or whether I just took a group tour.
Sure. I kind of think I'm an alien on vacation from like another solar system somewhere and just checking it out.
We all are.
You know?
Yeah.
We all are.
True alien on vacation. I've used that metaphor as ever since I was in college, and it's like, I've always felt separate from this entity in that I am a soul that's separated, and that was the way I would look at it. I'm an alien on vacation.
It's a great way to look at it.
Well, some would say we're here to try and transcend this third-dimensional reality into the next, into fourth-dimensional reality, and become the next dimension up is the sphere beings, and that our whole reason for being here, and I think the Buddha might agree. There might be some of the wizened ones to do so. Would say that we're placed here and we've developed from a two-stage reality into a three-dimensional one, and then once we get this right, we get graduated out, and then we get to leave this prison planet.
Ah, okay. Yeah, I think of that prison planet stuff sometimes too, and literally we work our whole lives away. Brian, Christian, I happen to know, works very hard physically. I mean, his body is taken to task, almost daily.
He hiked the Appalachian Trail. He
He's
can
a tough
deal
guy.
with it. He
Tough
can
guy.
handle it.
I know.
Yeah.
No whining.
I know.
Hiker.
Funny. And but I know too that with the availability of the information and with the spiritual content of the people that are surrounding us, we find people in our soul circle all the time, and our soul circle is big. You get your initial ring, which is generally your family and very close friends.
Of course.
But the links are very, very easy to attach, and you kind of just get that kind of. There's that feeling of knowing when you meet somebody that you're welcome into my space. You're cool. You're good, and
Right.
And I also believe that this time on Earth, 2018, there are more people alert to that, more people awake to experience that than ever before. I really do think people are seeing through the thin veil of materialism. I really think that they're starting to realize that, this political system that we live under really is what they're doing. They're setting the hedges for the maze that we run through. And sadly, they don't really love the participants. But at the end of our maze, we will have made them money. We will have advanced their program.
And we get a big piece of imaginary cheese.
Yes. It is imaginary cheese. It really is. The whole thing's a bunch of shit. But Christian, I know that you've done an extraordinary amount of soul searching, and we talk about all the time. Like, what's a good relaxation method that you do? That, like, okay, you come home, you had a very harried day, you had people in your face. Some stresses here and there, third parties, whatever. It's 10:30 at night. Your head's spinning. What do you do?
I've put my a lot of focus into yoga recently.
Yeah?
Very into that. It does give you an opportunity not only to, especially if you do it alone. It's not like with somebody barking in the background and stuff, and you can kind of just get your flow down. That you do start to feel your breath and come back to breath,
Right.
in a way that that is what it encompasses. You are alone in this world, but the only thing there is that you need to talk and go inside to feel that space,
Mm-hmm.
that oneness with everything. Really is a way to separate out and get away from that daily, thing that makes you come home with an attitude or you're mad. I don't want to take it out on my kids, so I'm just
Right.
I need to go take a minute, buddy. I'm just gonna go relax and just take a
Mm-hmm.
minute by myself, do a couple stretches, and
Mm-hmm.
it has helped recently, especially with the the amount of work and
Sure.
lifting, and it helps with your back and different, because we all have to fight gravity every day.
Yeah. Well, fighting gravity is just entirely true. So we're in this modern time. We have all these high levels of awareness. There is incredible teachings available to us online. I have found a lot of portals and a lot of information it just totally melds with my soul. I mean, I've listened to certain people speak on certain topics, and I go, yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's peaceful. Yeah, that's truth.
Sure.
And through this modern time that I often shake my head at, more and more people are going to be blessed. But consequently, now I don't know if you guys heard this or not. Cambridge University in England, they came up with a game for their journalist classes, and it's a game that they'll be scored on like as a grade or whatever, and it's their job to create fake news. Okay, that's the writing exercise.
Nice.
Wow.
Create fake news, no holds barred. So
Some would say that's been going on for like at least 50 years.
yeah,
But now they just have a course in it.
now
Creativity runs everywhere.
they took the cork off.
Yeah.
Now,
Gone is the veil. Sorry, folks.
yeah, because I mean,
Put it on your resume. I know how to write fake news. Okay, you're hired.
well, I've always been, I guess as a little bit older guy, you were always hoping that when somebody was reporting to you that they were trying to be truthful. That if someone was trying to get their truth out, even though there are spins, you were hoping that there was a thread of truth in there somewhere. So, and then the term yellow journalism came in, and that just, washed up and blew away. And now you've got all this fake news, and literally all this information. You have your trusted sources, and then you find out that, they weren't such a trusted source anyway.
You know what's going to happen is eventually people are going to pay good, hard cash money for real news right out of a real news station.
Really?
Yeah. You
Wow.
know? So, I mean, there's going to be a market for truth at some point in time.
Right.
The people that don't want us to know, that's the power of deception,
Mm-hmm.
Lead us away from sheeple must find their way to the endless nonsense,
Yeah, it's like, shut up, drink your beer and eat your Doritos.
Yeah.
Right. But what they do now, those who are against us and those who want to keep us confused, they'll make something that looks just like it and then let it still be untrue. There'll be some spin in there somewhere. It really is. It's very confusing for those of us that are trying to sort out reality and spend a little time thinking about it. And that's where Beth and I had this discussion once, where you'll hear all the time people say, you can't count on your feelings. You just can't count on your feelings. But on the other side of the coin, I say your feelings are everything.
You've got to go with your gut.
It's instinct, man.
Intuition.
That's that primal thing.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's multi-levels of perception all combining into one feeling, as opposed to, the intellect alone is feeble unless the heart and the hands are connected to it.
Yes.
They even claim that the heart has more energy that it expels and has its own mind to itself.
Right. It's got its own gravitational and electronic field.
Exactly.
So,
And just like the mind does, so these two are in a constant flux with one another. If you find time to be alone, you might, actually realize the different flux. I can feel my heart. I can feel my head. I know which one's talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when they talk about the chakras, years ago I read that, and that's too esoteric for me. So if you get rid of the word chakra and call it like level 1 through like level 7,
Right.
Purple level.
then you get it. They're colored. Yeah, it's like guitar strings. It's a green. Don't put it next to the silver unless you want it.
Mel Bay's Guide to Life.
Mel Bay. That's,
they should simplify
that's
that.
esoteric.
I always found too about the whole being alone thing. I'm always amazed when people say, I just, when they were in their 40s, they begin to appreciate like the planet and like things around them.
Right.
And from a very young age, I lived with my dad I was there by myself, and there were times when I was alone, and it's okay to be alone. And when you're alone, little bit more perceptive about what's happening around you. And I don't mean what people are doing. I mean what the planet's doing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I do know what you mean.
The wind, because you've been out in it for
Yeah.
extended periods of time.
Sure.
A lot of people don't get that. Like every time I go to Vegas, where do I end up? I end up out in the desert. I'm not kidding.
Yeah.
I stay in the city for a very small amount of time. They're like, where's a park I can go to? Like I
Right.
need to
That's
get out
awesome.
of here and go into the desert.
That's Mo Betta.
Yeah,
It
I mean,
is
I'm
not
not
bad.
doing 2,000 miles like you. You're crazy, but I no, I'm kidding. Yeah, amazing, but I can't. Yeah, and I would like to, but I just never had the time to commit to something
Sure.
like that.
You know, having been to Las Vegas, you know where you want to go to first, so it'll compel you to get as far out of the city as possible.
Circus.
Exactly, right next to the KOA trailer park. It's like, holy
Dude,
Christ!
I got married in Vegas, and I thought we had a little time between checking out of the.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh my God! We had a little time of checking out of our suite that we were in before the plane left. So I'm like, "What are we gonna do?" I'm like, "We got Jake with us. We'll go to Circus because I thought, it's a kids' casino. That place is that's where dreams go to die. That place. That's
What is
awful. It's like the only old casino left.
Oh,
And
really?
dude, it's awful.
Really?
It's awful. Yeah, it's not
No
Circus.
buffet, huh?
It's like if you want to run away from gambling fast, go there first.
And it is, dude. It's like they got like a circus show that happens like twice in the middle of the casino. I thought they had like a circus that they had there, but no, it's like old like Ukrainian performers that are pissed off. And you know what I mean? They're hanging like, I got to do this stupid show twice.
I must work for scale. These bastards.
Look, fat pasty American, they flip for you. You know that.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can lick my own balls. In case you are wondering.
Aren't you impressed? I'm a circus performer.
My sweat, please.
I've been on the trail for a week. Of course, I smell bad.
I mean, even the UFOs avoid it.
Very funny. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. Michael Merberg, Chris Gorge is our special guest, Christian Jones, this week. We're talking about how to be alone, and I think we've uncovered a couple good ideas. And, of course, meditation being the best way to pull that together for yourself. And I got to tell you, when I think about that, I mean, it's easy for me to talk about it because I'm a 6'3", 280-pound man. It's easy for me to kind of go around and do whatever the hell I want to do.
Sure.
I feel a little, I'm not sorry, but empath. I feel some empathy towards women who are looking for this, but they're smaller in frame, they're more fragile, and it's harder for them to find an alone place like that. Because women traveling alone is it's a spooky thing. I mean, it's
Sure.
it's what Stephen King thinks about when he starts writing a movie.
Right.
Well, like Pamela, my girl, she used to be a stand-up comedian, and she was on the same tour, the same circuit I was on, and she made it 3 years. Living out of your car, doing stand-up, hours alone, this, that, and the other
Sure.
thing. But after 3 years, she went, this is getting a little too dangerous. This is getting a little weird. This is hard. And but I know she got her dose of aloneness. But I feel, I wish there was like, I don't know, maybe Beth can start it up. Some like nice alone camp that girls can go to find that stuff.
Well, it's different for men and women. If you're a girl on the road, it's like the guy's always hitting you up like, "Hey, what you want to do tonight?" If you're a guy on the road, it's not so
Yeah.
frequent.
Yeah.
I couldn't get anybody to do anything with me since I've been on the road.
Oh,
I work
goodness.
with Joe Riga. I love Joe Riga, and we saw each other the first time. I'm like, "What's up, man?" He was opening for me, and then I never saw him for the rest of the weekend. Like, what you did? You're in the same hotel, dude. You can't knock on the door, say hello. No, nothing.
Too busy meditating.
I don't know what he was doing over there.
He's online.
I think he had a girl over there.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but could have asked me to breakfast.
That's
Aw.
yeah. When you got the girls on the road with it, that supersedes everything. But yeah, and those moments of personal clarity, like my brother. I love my brother so much, but he is one of these guys that's just inundated with people. Like from the minute he wakes up to the minute he goes to sleep, and he wakes up, and they're still there. And he's got some, he's got some hungry robins around him, and they exhaust him. The guy, I told him a couple of weeks ago, I go, brother, I said, you should get a job with a good truck driving company, and just go
Be alone.
Go be alone, man. Just go drive a truck, and go spend that time by yourself. And and these days, truck drivers do pretty good financially. I mean, you can.
Oh, yeah.
You can easily make $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a week. So, a month, a year.
Well, it depends what you're running a week.
If you got the right stuff in that truck.
I drop this off to Mr. Escobar, and
Only
then
have
we
to
go
work a
far
week
away.
every year.
Yeah, I'd only work 1 week a year.
Then we go far away. But yeah, so this aloneness thing is, it's hard to be. Now, don't stay alone too long, because then you get lonely. And when you get lonely, you start making bad decisions. That's something I noticed about my life, is that when you got too much time alone, you start living in that little laboratory in your head. And, for the most part, it's a safe place. But there are times that things boil over. And, I always could tell when it was time to go home. Just go be, and you do. On the other hand, you can be alone too long, and you really, really long for some, loving companionship, your family.
Well, true,
whatever.
And that just proves to you when you do get a chance to be alone any extended time, you are going to miss certain things. When you're out on the trail for a very long time, you miss a cheeseburger, best cheeseburger ever. At the end of that, you
Right.
get 2 weeks without a cheeseburger, man, that cheeseburger is the best freaking thing you've ever had.
Right.
But it also shows you, like, psychologically, that one thing, like, okay, what is it that I'm missing? Like, for me, on the trail, I didn't have I picked up a pen and paper and a pad at some little odd store along the way, and I would sit there sometimes just as I was hiking, take 5 minutes to myself and just go off and sketch something that I found interesting, or
Nice.
Not to mention 6,000 pictures that I took on my Trail Journal site as White Patch. That's trailjournals.com, White Patch. You can see me there.
Well, nice.
All 600 pictures I put up.
I looked at it a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. What's it called again?
Trailjournals.com. And you would just put up in top little search spot, White Patch.
White Patch.
And that would be my trail name.
I got a favorite little white patch. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. And we have been really, really blessed with some great co-op people. IRN Broadcast Network has just been phenomenal to me personally. I mean, Michael is my friend. I really care for him. He's a great guy. He's got great kids. Everybody that he's involved with is really, top quality. And the fact that he follows me here and does the Loutopia podcast and simulcasts it on the IRN Broadcast Network. He also on Saturday mornings does the Grease Guru show, which is the car talk show that I'm on pretty often.
Very cool.
I'm on like 3 out of 4 weeks out of the month. If I don't have to work, I go do that. And I just want to thank you, Michael, for your dedication and one of these days this thing's gonna catch the right vibration and it'll be different and better. And it keeps getting different and it keeps getting better every week. So we have sought a lot of things. I was just thinking, this is a fresh title. Where we at? Is that I didn't see? Okay, gotcha. There's a fresh title, and I was thinking, it's kind of tough to think of something new to talk about every week.
I bet.
And you would think you'd think, oh, there's endless things to talk about, but we really appreciate having you on, Mr. Jones.
It's nice to be here.
And you were great and very enlightening and encouraging, which is, and that's what that's what the show is all about. I mean, we're not a
That's a daily thing, man. You have to remind yourself and stay on that positive light.
Mm-hmm.
Stay on that upper, give yourself that little push when you get out of bed in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
Go over your day in your head and say, this is going to be a great day.
Yeah.
And you get that opportunity from being alone that you will see that when you do fall down, even in the middle of the day, you get right back up and you tell yourself, man, this is, I can just start my day again right now.
Yep.
Because that's the only thing that exists is that moment.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Absolutely. And that's all we have, technically, is right now. That's why in life, like I work a very busy schedule. I got a lot of shit to do all the time. But like when I get a comedy gig call and it sounds like fun, I want to go do it, man. I mean, not only do I get paid, which is great, but it's a side dish. The actual reality of being able to get in front of a room of a couple hundred people and make them laugh. Because if you're laughing, you're not fighting. If you're laughing, you're not fretting. If you're laughing, you do forget your worries for a short amount of time. And I work with some of the nicest people. I mean, comedians are great. I mean, there's some of them, they only have a show and they're pretty good people. But there's other ones that are really hilarious guys 24 hours a day. And it's a blessing to be with people that are funny 2 minutes after they're awake.
I put the White Patch Journal up on the chat window there.
Oh, beautiful.
So the link's there if you want to click on it.
Excellent. Thanks.
You can click on the chat right there, and they got the trail journal for White Patch.
Look at that. Thank you very much.
Well, here's the exercise for the week.
Okay.
I learned this one today, which sounds pretty good. It's like when you get up in the morning, look outside and find something beautiful about the day. Today was really easy.
Yes.
Cloudy days, sometimes not so much. But look out and find something beautiful that you see that's in nature or just, your surroundings. Even a city can be a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm. And then realize that you are a part of that.
Amen.
And then once you do that, then you've got your day set and you've got your bearings.
Yeah, keeping that big picture in focus is very, very important. The scriptures tell you that one of the states that we long to be in is what they call a constant state of prayer. And you go, oh, how can you do that? I mean, what are you going to be on your knees all day, with the smoke and the thing? No. A constant state of prayer, and the word's been bent a little bit. It's actually a word that means somewhere between praise and prayer. When you realize, when you can look at everything coming at you as a blessing, that's a really ascended place. And I can do it for short amounts of time.
True.
I can even be thankful for another idiot in a black Dodge pickup truck cutting me off in traffic. I can even be thankful for him because he, again, let me know how much more adjusted I am, than road rage and fingers flipping.
Sure.
And,
And he might save you from an accident later down the line.
And that's exactly
you never know how it comes together.
That's exactly right, Michael. Because he cut me off, I didn't make that light. But then if you go up a couple lights, somebody had a little fender bender. Yep. It wasn't you because of that guy. So it's all good. Count it all joy. And a constant state of prayer is an important goal.
Gratitude.
Hard to get there. Yeah.
A lot of gratitude, man.
The attitude of gratitude. Get that next breath. All that good stuff.
Exactly.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Loutopia podcast. I'm Lou Angel Wolf. You have spent another hour with your buddies here. And we really enjoy having you. Please subscribe to the channel. We have a lot of shows on backlog. And please like them and tell your friends. Feel free to repost this on anything you want to repost it on. I got a whole bunch of LinkedIn people. I should repost this on my LinkedIn. I can do that, right?
Sure.
Not legally. No, yeah, you can.
Chris is my guy. Like, yeah, I believe him too. I wouldn't. I go, well, I can't. It's illegal. But
don't go the LinkedIn way.
Stick to the high road. Stay away from the marshes.
They'll still let you do it on MySpace though, so you'll be all right.
MySpace. I miss MySpace so much.
It's so antiquated.
No fake news.
I loved MySpace was the coolest. It had
I loved it.
Your own little your own little
Page.
website right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You were just it was
You know when MySpace
about
stopped
you.
being cool? When the kids told me I couldn't be on it. You're too old. You shouldn't be on there. I'm like, you're a dick. And they were right. They were right. But I was like, oh man.
Yeah. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the Loutopia podcast. Thank you, Christian Jones,
Thank you.
Chris Gorgeous, Michael Merberg, Michael Matumbe Merberg.
Yeah, I'm black now. It came with being a member of the Democratic Party.
He's getting down with his roots. Hey, if you want to watch a really depressing movie, it's called Mudbound. It's on Netflix. Wow, 2 hours of pain. So, but well done, and some beautiful poetry in it too. So that's almost worth it.
Right.
Almost. But hey, we'll be back next week. Loutopia Live. Thanks for joining us on Facebook and YouTube and Podomatic, and we thank IRN Broadcast one more time. Y'all be good. Be kind to your friends. Call your mama. Kiss some babies. Have a good week.